Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And I have a fabulous guest today. Tom Paladino is here, and welcome, Tom, to High Road to Humanity.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I'm excited you're here. You guys, this is going to be a really fun show. We're going to talk about scalar energy. And I want to give you a little information about Tom. So Tom is a researcher. He's a humanitarian. He's seeking to make a difference in the world by providing people with the education and tools to restore optimal health and by helping enhance their quality of life. And don't we all want that? Now, he started his research with scalar energy after developing a deep admiration for the father of scalar energy, who was Nikola Tesla, okay? And he was able to study the work of an inventor, it's Hieronymous, who continued research on scalar energy, also had major contributions, including unbinding, check this out, the RNA and the DNA bonds of microbes plaguing the agricultural industry. So we're going to get into that today. But what I really want to say, what really blows my mind, Tom, more than anything about your bio, and I want to hear your story, but is that scalar light, which you talk about now, it's free energy, but it comes from the stars.
Yes, there you go.
I love it. I'm so excited to hear about
that. Put an asterisk by that. We'll delve into that.
Goes by the stars. Yes. Well, that's the key right there. So tell us your story. Tell the audience. And here's what tell the audience. How did you get into this? Why did you get into this? I see a picture of Jesus behind you.
Yeah, that's right. He's my Lord and Savior.
Mine too.
God bless. Wonderful.
Yes.
How did I get into this? As a youngster, I was reading about Nikola Tesla.
Right.
And I was just so awestruck with his work. It was just such a genius. And then I started to realize later in his life, he was working with scalar energy, what he called radiant energy. And Tesla reported that he was going to illuminate the world with free energy. And I said, how's he going to do that? How? Well, I think over the years, it's rather apparent. He had a scalar energy tower in Wardenclyffe, Long Island. He captured star energy from the stars, free energy, and he was going to use that free energy from the stars to illuminate, to power the world. And he was getting close to doing that, right. But his research was suppressed. Of course. So we're going to go back 100, maybe 120, 130 years here, and we're going to revisit Tesla and his work, and we're going to take up from where he left off, and at least I'm working in the realm of health, or what I should say, quantum health, with this free energy from the stars.
Okay. That's, and I've always said this, I've had different people on the show. We've talked about Tataria, the different civilizations. I don't know if you've heard about them, where they used the water and the pyramids and, ether as a mixture, right? And these towers, just as you're speaking of, with these high antennas, which still exist. If you look at churches and if you look at these older buildings, you start to see them. And then you realize that at one time we did have free energy.
We did. And we've lost it. Right. And it's been suppressed. So we're going to reinvent what Tesla left us with, his legacy.
I got chills.
Yeah, thank you. I get chills regarding Tesla's work frequently. Why is this so important? Well, as we record this conversation, we're in the grip of an energy crisis.
Yeah.
And nobody seems to have a definitive route how to solve these problems. Had we have listened to Tesla, we would have had free energy, and free energy would have solved most of our problems.
But I'm going to stop you a second, Tom. Now, you have to know, because you've already alluded to it, that they do know this information.
Sure.
But been suppressed because they don't want us to have free energy.
Exactly.
Now that society has grown and we are intelligent and we realize, and they can't like dumb us down anymore, this is where all this is coming to the forefront. I want to get into this a little bit because I want to understand this, because I'm quite interested. How do you harness this energy? Because it's from what I understand, and you can correct me, it's 1.5 times the speed of light.
Okay. There is no velocity to scalar energy because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
So
Okay.
Scalar energy doesn't travel from point A to point B. It's everywhere.
Okay.
It's the omnipresence of God.
Okay. So we're pulling God's energy, but
yes.
they say it's coming from the stars. Now let's talk about this, because I pull in God's energy every single day. I bring in the light, I bring it through my crown chakra, I take it through my body, the whole bit. And that's how I stay bright and lit and balanced. But you're talking about bringing it from the stars. Two different things or the same thing? Not really.
It's the same. Let's say that God uses the stars as the storehouses of his energy.
Okay.
But stars are everywhere. Scalar energy is everywhere. It's just a point of reference that we're going to use. But I believe scalar energy is divine energy. When you pray, when you meditate, you're asking God's energy or his light to come into you. Energy and light are synonymous terms.
Right.
Scalar energy is not electricity. So after all is said and done, we're working with the God force energy.
Love it. Okay. So now I understand, because I bring that in every day and I teach the audience. And, I just want to reiterate how important it is when you bring in this energy every day, because it changes your life.
Yeah, it does. And when people pray and meditate, of course, that changes your life. And one of the reasons that prayer, meditation changes our lives is because we're now communicating God, or we're in God's will. Prayer, meditation is really, it's just a function, if you will, of scalar energy or scalar light.
It's connecting.
Yes, it's the connection to God. And how do we connect to God? Well, according to the physics laboratory, through scalar energy. You don't connect to God with electricity.
No.
Electricity is very inferior.
Right. Now, do you think Tesla knew he was tapping into God?
Oh, yeah. He's a very religious man.
Awesome. Okay.
Very, very humble, very religious, and he understood.
So he understood it. Okay. So it's completely different. Now, how do you know? Well, and I guess I shouldn't even ask this question because I'm a psychic. So the messages I get, because, I read about there's messages that travel. Well, of course, I get my messages. I'm just a conduit. I'm just a vessel.
Yes.
Yeah. And they come through, and then I tell people, because I connect every day, I'm able to give them the information that they're looking for.
Okay. Yes, precisely. Some people have the gift of prophecy. Some people have a hunch or intuition. Others have intuition. Yeah. Others have great creativity.
Right.
Some people have the ability of language. Others have the ability of math. Where does all of this intelligence come from? Right. It comes from God.
Right.
That's the consciousness of the universe. What some people might call consciousness of the universe, I would call it the all-seeing eye, or the omnipresence of God, or the presence of the Holy Spirit.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. How do we harness this energy? How do we use it? Like we were talking before, I've seen the buildings, how we used to have it. I know they used water. I know they used ether. I know they used the energy. Yeah. What do you know about, especially ether? Ether is something that's like the key. And so I want to ask you what you know about that.
Tesla frequently spoke of the ether. He considered it sometimes the luminiferous ether, or the ether of space. There has to be some type of means to propagate information or light or energy. And ether is, if you will, what I sometimes call the highway of the sky, or perhaps the basic building block of matter. Okay.
Well, and I agree with you on that one. I have always known that ether was the key, but I haven't figured out exactly,
because it's fundamental. It's the fundamental particle. Now, I think a lot of people in your audience realize an electron is not fundamental. Electrons are created and destroyed frequently. So if something's fundamental, it has to be eternal, and it has to be immutable. Ether is immutable. It's the standard basic unit of matter.
Okay. So how do we do this? How do we get free energy?
We get free energy by copying the work of Nikola Tesla and Galen Hieronymous, two scientists, two scalar energy scientists that I've studied. Both men had scalar energy instruments. I've copied their work. I have scalar energy instruments. And the difference is night and day. Again, I'm not working with electrons. This is not a movement of electrons. Scalar energy, you tap into a force field, an eternal force field. So my scalar energy instruments tap into God's energy, God's force field. I mean every word of that. And it's a different dimension. Bluntly, you transcend time and space when you're in this other dimension. There's two energies, there's two realities.
I love it. All right, guys, we're going to go to commercial break because we are doing the podcast today. And if you guys want to listen to the podcast, it's on TogiNet Radio. They produce it for me. It's on Apple Podcasts. I'm also on Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm here today with Tom Paladino. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and this is High Road to Humanity, and I'm back here today with Tom Paladino. We're talking about scalar energy. And Tom, I just want you to continue on. You know, there are people, you were telling me on the break, who are using this energy to be healed. Is that right?
That's correct. What do I mean by that? Well, scalar energy, once again, is the intelligence of everything. It's also the intelligence behind germs, pathogens. So if my two fingers represent a molecular bond of a bacterium or a virus, and we can negate that molecular bond, the bacterium or the virus falls apart.
Okay.
That's one of the functions of scalar energy, to control matter, either to create a molecular bond or to negate a molecular bond. Quite fascinating.
Okay, so hold on. So what I'm getting from that is, like, we have minds and we have these emotions and we can create negativity. And what this does is it kind of like gets rid of the negativity and brings us back to where we're supposed to be.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Very good. So how do we correct a problem? Well, let's say we have the HIV virus, which is a problem. It's connected by consciousness or intelligence.
Correct.
It's a symbol.
We created it ourselves, not meaning to, but we actually created it because we're little creators, and we've created this dis-ease in our body, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's one way of looking at it. So my instrument, my star instrument, my scalar energy instrument can look at the molecular bond of the HIV virus and negate the intelligence, negate the molecular bond. And when that happens, the HIV virus falls apart into amino acids and elements such as carbon, phosphorus, and nitrogen, etc. It ceases to exist as a functioning microorganism. And I do all of that by way of light.
I love it. Well, yeah, because light is the way to heal. So let me rewind a little bit. So when did you start putting the machine together?
I had the good fortune to meet the Hieronymous family. Galen Hieronymous was an American inventor. He had scalar energy instruments. He actually had a US and Canadian patent. Long story short, I was able to purchase instruments from his family.
Wow.
Back in the 90s.
Wow.
And I fashioned my instruments off of the work of Galen Hieronymous. I copied Galen Hieronymous. Now, sadly, he's deceased, and very few people have ever heard of him. But he's a pinnacle in science. He's one of the few men that were able to harness scalar energy consciousness. He really deserves a Nobel Prize, but in today's political climate, he won't get it.
He won't get it. But there, so he created, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but he created a machine, and you just went ahead, and nothing happens by accident, by the way. You were able to obtain this information. The right person got it into their hands, which was you. And so now you've recreated it, and you've started to let people use it. Is that right?
Exactly. So
how long have you been doing this?
I met the Hieronymous family in 93. So
right, but how long has your machine been working along?
Oh, we've perfected, I work with a brilliant engineer for the past 12, 13 years. We've perfected these instruments. And now for the past 12, 13 years, we're having stellar results.
So what do you do? I mean, Talk, like if I came to you and said, you know what, like right now, I'll just be straight with you. I've got issues with my neck. I don't know. It's like, I got a stiff neck. So, but I bring in the light every day, but I still got a stiff neck because I'm not perfect. I'm human. So I have issues like we all do, right? We work on ourselves, but we all do. So what do you do? Like for me?
Yeah. Okay. So let me start off by saying this is not a biological process. When I work with people by way of their photograph.
Why?
A photograph carries information. If I were to place my photograph inside an instrument, my instrument would recognize that this is me and treat my quantum field, my informational field. So I don't work with people one-on-one. I never do. I work with their substitute or their bilocated version of photograph. I've been working with people around the world by way of a photograph. So the photograph seems to carry the same soul, mind, and body that I do. The photograph is my bilocated version. And that's the very quiddity of quantum healing. You don't have to be there. It transcends time and space.
How do you know it works?
By the results. Very good. How do I know it results? After working with, 5, 10 million people and receiving thousands upon thousands of testimonies, it works. Everybody who's ever approached us, and if they had herpes, after we work with their photograph, just their photograph, people report that they no longer have herpes or they no longer have any detectable viral load for HIV.
So do they just ask you, like, send the picture and just clear me in general?
Yes. Yeah, I have a standard.
Man, I'm sending you my photo.
I have a standardized session in which people will send me their photograph, and I will, if you will, identify over 400,000 species of germs and eradicate those germs.
Well,
but
yeah.
I want to inculcate this very clearly. I don't work with people. This is not biological. I work with their substitute, which is their photograph, which is informational.
That's crazy. I love it. I love it. So what do? You put it in there, and then it.
I'll make a long story short. So everything I do is by way of a photograph. I'm going to hold up a photograph of the herpes virus, and I'm going to hold up my photograph. If I place these two photographs inside the instrument simultaneously, we share information between herpes and me, myself and the herpes. Anyway, long story short, this photograph of herpes will look for the herpes virus in my body, my quantum body, and destroy it.
Oh my God.
So there's no human guessing. Photographs communicate with one another. Everything's informational now. A photograph of the herpes virus will download into my quantum field and destroy the herpes virus in my body.
Is this like a med bed?
I don't know what med beds are, so I can't.
Well, because all my spiritual people, they're like, Nancy, there's going to be med beds and you can get younger. And I'm like, dude, I'm making myself younger every day. And I want to say that the light, let's talk about that a little bit, just because I thought about it. And you look pretty young too, and you look vibrant. When you bring in the light, and the reason I bring this up is I really want the audience to understand, and I push this so hard, but it would be nice if you talked about it too. Talk about just bringing in the light, what it does for you as a person.
It's life-giving.
Physically, mentally. I mean, if you would just take a minute and talk about it, because I just really push this hard.
Yeah, I live in Florida, so I'm very blessed to be in sunlight just about every day of the year. What does it mean to me? It's life-giving. If you cut off the light of the sun and the stars, life would cease in an instant. So what is the point with light? Light is informational. Light instructs us, soul, mind, and body. Without light, we don't have a universe. And when God said, be light made, he said that initially because that serves as the instructions. And after God made light, then he made plants and animals and people and elements. But first, God had to create the light, which was fundamental.
Exactly. I love it. Okay. Now, are people starting to recognize this? Because we are in this situation where we're going from 3D to 5D. People are waking up. They're starting to see what's happening. They're starting to realize we're getting screwed here. Excuse my French. They're starting to realize there's all this stuff that's been hidden from us, all this technology, God. They've really tried to put God down so that we don't connect. I mean, I see people waking up, and like yourself, I interview a lot of people. Do you see it? What do you see?
Yes, very much so. It's incredible. It's almost like an exponential increase as compared to 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
People are now starting to realize that there is a spirit realm, regardless of their religious, meaning, their philosophical beliefs. There is a spiritual realm, and people now acknowledge that. The first step is to acknowledge something, to say, yes, oh, this is possible. Yeah. And we're seeing that throughout society. I think the pandemic really was a wake-up call to many people.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It made us go within. It made us, figure out what's really important in life. And so, yeah, I agree with you. When we come back, I want to talk about the chakras and maybe a little bit about gravity. All right, you guys, this is Nancy Yearout. I'm here today with Tom Paladino. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm back here today with Tom Paladino. We're talking about scalar energy. We're talking about free energy. Do you think we'll get to a point where we will have free energy here pretty quick? Do you think it's going to happen?
Yes. I'd say within our lifetime. Yes.
There's
so much information now about scalar energy and how it's the free energy of the stars, the sun, that it's just a matter of time before we figure it out. Yes.
Okay. Tom, give your information out in case people want to get with you.
I offer 15 days of free session to anyone in the world. Anybody in the world can visit scalarlight.com. You're going to send us, remember, we work with photographs. You're going to email us your photograph. You can include your family, just a bus shot, just your face. Include your pets. We will work with everybody in the world at least once for free in order to introduce this new science to the world.
Now, here's my question. Once you do it, do you need to do it again?
It's up to people. We leave it entirely up to people. Some people like it so much that they'll go on and they'll become a paying member. Others just say, no, 15 days is fine.
Like maybe you cleared them and they're good, and then
yes.
Yeah, and then they don't need it. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Now, let's talk about our chakras. Let's talk about our energy fields, because we are made of energy. We're in these bodies, but we are energetic souls. We're light. And, everybody talks about them like it's no big deal, but we are energy. Yes. And so this actually balances the chakras. Now, how were you able to, and the meridian points, how were you able to know that it was balancing the chakras?
I don't. God does that. And let me be quite frank. The brain waves that we speak of are scalar waves.
Right.
Our 7 chakras or 7 meridians are composed of scalar energy. Okay. So the best way to balance your brain, scalar waves, is with a scalar energy instrument. The best way to balance your 7 chakras, scalar chakras, is with a scalar energy instrument. To the contrary, it's electromagnetic energy that serves to produce an imbalance in our brain, in our thinking. Electromagnetic energy puts out of whack, if you will create an imbalance for our meridians. So it's the realm of scalar energy that I want to immerse people in. I've never been a fan of electromagnetic energy.
Let's talk about that, because, that's what we use. And, we talk about EMFs, they talk about Faraday cages, how this affects us. We have to use wires. This is really like almost, how can I say this? Like a, backwards way of functioning.
It is. And Tesla wanted to get rid, even though Tesla was the father of AC electricity, he saw the merit of scalar energy, which would have been wireless energy transmission. The way to power the world is with scalar energy that does not have any negative consequences.
Because electromagnetic does have all these consequences.
It does.
Was that done intentionally? Because it dumbs us down? Because here's what I think, and I just want to throw this at you, not to get real deep here today, but what I'm thinking is, because I'm working on my thoughts, And what I think is the electromagnetic interferes with our connection with the divine, because it brings in thoughts. It's like they're trying to interrupt that connection. It's almost like if you were connecting to the computer, but something kept interrupting you.
Precisely. You're astute. You're very astute. What's my point? Electricity, magnetism, electromagnetic energy experiences entropy. What is entropy? The death of the signal, or the decay, or the energy falls off. What is scalar energy? It's just the opposite. There's never a death or decay of a scalar wave. So why do we want to work with energy like electricity that produces death and disease that decays, as opposed to scalar energy that never decays? It's the constant force. It is all beneficial. It is all enlightenment. There's no comparison.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's just
there's no comparison.
It's just so backwards. It's like we're living in the cave ages, or the caveman ages, when we know that there's something better out there. Now, I'm going to go a little bit further here and just touch on this a tad. But we were talking a little on the break. The pyramids, of course, I believe were used to, connect and bring in energy from the stars. And I even believe, don't you think that? I mean, after
pyramids capture scalar energy, yes.
Yeah. And and the water underneath, what do you feel about, did that just power it?
In many ways, water is a capacitor, will attract scalar energy. So if you have water underneath a pyramid, apparently Tesla wanted to build Wardenclyffe on the water in Long Island because there was an aquifer below, or some type of water source. And that may have, so to speak, primed the pump, so to speak.
I think that's true, because there's all that water under Mount Shasta, and they say that's where the ETs come in, and there's all kinds of water up underneath the pyramids. And I think it's just all connected. I mean, there's still that, I don't know, it almost feels like there's still that missing piece. Now, your machine can help people, but how would you do free energy? Would you have to set it up like we have these grids? Obviously, they don't work so well. Would you have to just set up a new power system throughout the world, or how would this work?
It'd be entirely new power system, because an electromagnetic motor cannot function under a scalar motor. For instance, anytime I bring my cell phone close to my scalar energy instrument, my cell phone will not function. My cell phone, when it is flooded with scalar energy, will not recognize a scalar energy signal. So that's just a fact for the audience.
Why? Why?
Because my cell phone only recognizes electromagnetic energy.
So God doesn't like it.
Yeah, well, very good. When my cell phone is exposed to a powerful scalar energy force field, it won't operate, nor will my computer. The scalar wave will override a computer, will override a cell phone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Doesn't that say a lot?
There are two different realities. There are two different energies.
Yeah, and here, and I got to tell you something. This is a little bit offbeat, but I was like, turned on the TV yesterday, right? And this cartoon comes on. And I'm like, okay. And they're teaching these kids about robots. And they're like, look, you can have a robotic arm. And look, you can be even better. And look, we can be like robots. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, they're teaching the kids in the cartoons how to do this stuff. Because on one side of the spectrum, you've got people who just want to make us robots. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we're like, wait a minute, hold on. We are these light beings who need to be connected with our divine source so that we can function properly and live forever. Yes. Correct? It's just like night and day.
Yes, it is night and day. Thank you. And once the audience realizes what this means, it's not only free energy, it's unlimited intelligence. Scalar energy will, once we use it in the classroom, will allow us to download information.
To answer all the questions that we have about the universe.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a lot of people on the show who deal with the extraterrestrials, who deal, with that realm. And the reason that we haven't connected with them is because humanity hasn't come up to a point where they want to deal with us, because we're still such a uncaring, people. We've got to get to the love vibration before they will work with us, because and this is so crazy, because our energy affects them. Think about it.
We have to come to this agreement in society that technology will be used to enhance our lifestyle. That's the whole point with my career. I'm not going to sell out to big business. This is not a moneymaker. I'm a humanitarian. I'm a Christian. I want to help the world. So those of you in the audience, if you want to help us, come on board. We need to get this information out there. Now, to be blunt, scalar research is suppressed. The powers that be do not want free energy.
Yes, I know. All right, guys, we got one more segment here today. We're doing the podcast, so we're going to break. I'm here today with Tom Paladino. We're talking about scalar energy. Make sure you share this show. This is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity, and we'll be right back. Hi, this is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm back here on my last segment with Tom Paladino. Hey, if you guys want a psychic reading, go to my website, nancyyearout.com, and I'll be happy to meet with you and bring you some messages from the angelic realm. Tom was telling me on the break that you're doing some work with some folks in India on HIV. Talk about this.
There's a clinic in Delhi, India, Om Prakash. We've already worked with 3,000 people at this clinic who were HIV positive. Now, keep in mind, people from India email us photographs. I've never been to India, by the way.
Okay.
And working through a photograph of people who are HIV positive in India, we're able to detect the HIV virus and destroy it in the quantum realm. Well, then we need a follow-up. And the people at Om Prakash, the people who participated in this study, this scientific study, tell us after the scalar energy sessions, they feel better. They feel much better. And their CD4 count has risen significantly. And notably, everybody who's had a follow-up PCR test, the PCR test is not detectable. There's no detectable viral load for HIV. Now, we've worked with 3,000 people at a clinic, and they're feeling better, all of them.
That's amazing. How long has this been going on?
We've been doing this now off and on for about 5 years. And eventually it's going to come to the attention of the general public that the HIV virus has been eradicated.
I love it. I love it. So you can eradicate anything. Like if someone had, I'm just asking, leukemia, for example.
Not cancer. I work with microbes. Let me make this clear. Microorganisms.
Let's talk about this.
Viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites. So if it's a microorganism, we can eliminate it.
Okay. So if somebody comes to you and they're in their 3-stage cancer or whatever, you can't.
Cancer. We haven't perfected cancer or diabetes, even though I think that might be possible in the future.
Well, and I'm just going to say it is possible, because all people have to do is, and God bless you for having your machine, but all people have to do is bring in the light and balance and connect with God, and you can get rid of the dis-ease. And I can say that for sure. I know that happens. So that's interesting. You're just helping people along. Now, what's your plans for the future? What are you going to do in the future?
I want God to heal the world. And we're going to do that through a photograph. We can use collages, group photographs. I really want to heal a billion, 2 billion people. Why not? The world, if necessary. God's the healer. So if some of you are ambitious and you want to join us, contact me. Let's heal the world. These instruments can easily work with 5 million photographs a day.
It's amazing.
Yes, it is. It's a game changer. This energy is like none other.
Well, energy, we are energy, and everything is energy. And, and we talk on the show a lot about 3D and 5D, and everything is really just energy. It's kind of an illusion, we're kind of in like a matrix almost. And I think as we wake up, a lot of the illusion falls to the wayside. Yeah. And we're able to see. So what else? Have there been people who have come on board and said, hey, we want to support you? And, what can people do if I've got somebody watching that says, hey, I really want to help this guy? Just contact you through your website.
Contact us through the website, scalarlight.com. First of all, try the 15-day session. prove to yourself that this works. We're going to eliminate microbes. We're going to balance your chakras. And there's another function. We can create vitamins. We can create nutrients with this energy. After the 15-day session, if this makes sense and you want to help us, then let's heal the world. All we need is a photograph. It could not be simpler. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody can take a photograph today.
And a picture, you guys. Tom, you're going to get inundated.
Oh, good.
I love it.
That's the whole point here. I'm not hiding.
I love it. Now, are you nervous about, well, let me just ask the question. He's like, no, Nancy, I'm not. I'm protected by God.
Yes.
I already answered my question. All right, fine.
We'll expand upon that. Okay.
No.
I believe Nancy was going to say, are you somewhat concerned about your health or your welfare? Because what I'm doing is it's contrary to the status quo. God does protect me. Jesus does protect me. And I will forecast that once this energy becomes well known and embraced, it will have an impact upon the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes, finally.
Scalar energy healing will have a significant impact upon pharmaceutical sales. There, I said it. And that's just the consequence that when people are healed, you no longer need a pharmaceutical product.
Well, this has been put into place by the Rockefellers a long time ago to control the health industry and the doctors. You know, the whole thing. It's a whole ruse. And so, yes,
Nancy, I frequently say the Rockefellers control the pharmaceutical industry and the oil industry, and then I say to people, why would bankers be in charge of our medical paradigm? And nobody can answer that. Well, the question's not rhetorical. I'd like people to consider that. Why are the Rockefellers controlling the American Medical Association? Why are the Rockefellers controlling pharmaceutical companies?
Why did they get
Rockefellers they're oil barons, they're bankers. It's about money.
Right.
It's not about health, it's about money. And that's why bankers are in control of our health.
Right. And that's why I just want to interject. That's why they got rid of a long time ago all the natural holistic doctors who have now just come back. Yeah. Okay. They got rid of them all. Oh, no. You can't do that. You have to go to our school. Oh, no. These guys are quacks. You can't deal with them. But now the natural healers are back. I will say that.
You.
I will say. Tom, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. We're going to get out of here for today. You guys, it's called Scalar Light Energy. It's scalarlight.com. If you want to get in touch with Tom, I'm going to send him my picture for sure. Balance me out. So glad you came on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you. What a great conversation.
Okay, God bless. Hey, you guys, this is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. Everybody take care. We'll see you next time, and God bless. Please join me next time on the High Road with stories full of love and hope for our future. You can find High Road to Humanity on TogiNet Radio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and now watch the High Road on BINGE TV Networks. My channel is High Road to Humanity. Have a blessed week, and know by staying on the High Road, you will make it to your destination. For a psychic empath reading, visit my website, nancyyearout.com, to book your date and time with me. I will deliver your messages from the angels, and God bless.